Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and the glory to Yahweh Ba'al Shemi Shah Ba'al Shema Rakak Wadash. Double honor to the apostles of great millstone, and salute to the Akim out there that's pushing this truth in all sincerity, and even unto those that's learning and listening at the same time. And this is something that I found on the independent.co.uk, which is another UK news station, right? And the reason why I want to speak about this article, and I have to say this, is because this is something that I've been contemplating on, concerning this coronavirus scare. And, what I said a day ago, while I was thinking out loud, what I came to the conclusion of is that this is a cover-up. The coronavirus scare is nothing but a cover-up for something else. And then it just dawned on me, because what's really going on in the reality of things is that we're heading closer, or should I say we're literally at war now. A world war is being prepared right unknowingly, okay? While the media's telling us that we have to be aware of the coronavirus scare, meanwhile, an actual war is being prepared. And the actual war that's being prepared is a world war, okay? So, and like the apostles speak about, in particular Apostle Tahar, he talks about how it's not going to be a nuclear war because the chip has to come to pass, and that's very well the case. When you really check it further and you further analyze what's really going on, and you look outside of what they're telling you, what you begin to see is something else is going on, And this is what Esau does. Esau is known to deceive people. This is what they do. They're very good at deception. And the tool that they have the most is what you call the media. And they use that particular tool to deceive the people, which is a very powerful tool to do just that, So the whole coronavirus scare is nothing but a psychological operation, and to distract the masses of the people as to what's really going on. And what's really going on is that a world war is on the verge of happening. We're literally at war. And I want to show you, brothers, through articles, and I want to obviously read some scriptures. All right? Because this coronavirus is nothing but that. It's just a scare. Okay, it's a hoax. That's all it is. What's really going on is that we're at war. So let me read this. It says, this is what Trump is doing in the Middle East while you're distracted by coronavirus. It says, an independent is bringing this out. And still the virus shrouds Donald Trump's mischief in the Middle East. For it was his sly retreat from Iraq. Now it's his cozy military exercise with the UAE. Famous in song and legends as a former Saudi ally in the bloody Yemen war, and his cut of $1 billion in aid to Afghanistan because its presidential feuding may hamper another deal with his newly established chums in the Taliban. And then there's Iran. So let's look for a moment at the extraordinary mock city built in the Emirates. And this was brought out by this guy here, Robert Fisk, 8 hours ago. So it says, so let's look for a moment at the extraordinary mock city built in the Emirates, complete with multi-story buildings, hotel, apartment complexes, and airboat control towers, oil refineries, and a central mosque, which Emirati troops and U.S. Marines have been assaulting with much clamor in a joint military exercise. So wait a minute. The military of the U.S. are supposed to be prepared and ready to fight this COVID-19 virus, but meanwhile they're exercising. Okay, right along with the they're doing joint military exercises right along with those Arabs down there. All right, so this is again showing you that this coronavirus thing is nothing but a cover-up, man. Okay, even just on this article here. Anyway, let me read on. It says, according to the Associated Press, reporters who watched this Hollywood-style epic, Emirati soldiers. So you have the Emirati soldiers doing military joint exercises with the U.S. Marines. Meanwhile, there's supposed to be this virus that the government has to be looking out for and fighting. Okay? So this whole thing is a joke. It's you know what I mean? Like, and this is something that I was contemplating in my mind. I was thinking to myself, there's gotta be something. There's gotta be a reason. There's gotta be more to this, just this coronavirus. That's just what my mom was telling me, you know. And I started to ponder in my mind furthermore, and through the Spirit revealed that I was correct. Okay. Through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai, it was found that I was correct, that we're at war. But what they're doing is to distract the people from this particular situation. Let's just say that people have to look out for a virus, because when you think about a virus, you're gonna, I mean, if your government is telling you that there's a virus that's proliferating itself and it's becoming a pandemic, fear's going to kick in. And when you're in a state of fear, in a state of panic, you can't think as to what's really going on, because you're under the influence of fear, you know. And that's how they get you, you know. And this is why I call it just that, a psychological operation, cover-up. And that's what I was calling it. That's how I looked at this coronavirus thing, man, a day ago. It just dawned on me, and now the Spirit of the Lord led me to find these articles to show and prove this. Okay? Because I was assuming in my mind that maybe there's a cover-up because of something else. But now the articles are actually substantiated as to what I was thinking prior, before I even found these articles. All right? So this is it right here. We're pretty much at war. So let me read this, man. And repelled from helicopters while Marines searched narrow streets on the Persian Gulf for mock enemy forces. But who were these forces? Iranian, perhaps. In which case, the mock mosques was presumably Shia, the oil refineries presumably in southern Iran, and the old streets in one of Iran's ancient cities. Surely not Shiraz, surely not Isfahan. Okay, so what I want to also do is read another article. All right, and this article here shows you what's really going down around England. And as you can see, you have Russian Navy ships that are actually around the North Sea, right next to, right around the back, pretty much in the backyard of Britain. Okay, the North Sea, you have Russian Navy ships right in our backyards. And meanwhile, what you also have, as we go down, we also have Russian planes flying around us as well. And this is something that the media ain't really pushing hard and heavy about, is that you have Russian planes that are flying around exactly where we're located at in England. And then you have the ships as well. And while that's going on, they're distracting us over this coronavirus thing, telling us to stay home and do this and do that. And why are they telling us to stay home and pretty much narrowing our freedoms? Why is this? Because we're simply at war. Okay? That's the truth. The truth of the matter is that we're simply at war. Okay? Because we've been close to war even going back to 2016. So how much more close to war are we to this very moment in time in 2020, the year of prophecy? So now what I want to do is, before I get into this article here, let me just read Joel, the 3rd chapter, real quick. As a matter of fact, I want to read Revelations 11 and 14. This is Revelations 11 and 14. And it says, and the second war was past, which is World War II, which the word war means destruction. And behold, the third war cometh quickly. So there's a third world war that we're involved in. And we've been involved in World War III ever since the early 1990s. And it's pretty much closer, reached the point of war, to the point where anything is capable of happening right now. All right? Like things are getting a lot more scarier for the British government. And this is why, probably so, Boris Johnson and his crew, they're going to start doing? They're going to start withdrawing Parliament. So why is it that they're going to now start withdrawing Parliament? Because they got to focus on this situation, you see. This is the situation they have to deal with. This is why Boris Johnson is not going to want to take any questions concerning this coronavirus thing, because for one, they want to focus on this situation. This is the real deal situation that's going on, rather than this coronavirus scare. Okay? And that's the reason why they want to close off Parliament, because we're at war. All right? That's just the truth. The truth of the matter is we're at war. So now I want to read this article here. It says, Iran strike indications rise for Israel. U.S. forces in Middle East. The United States and the United Arab Emirates held a large exercise, Native Fury, on Monday, with troops from both countries operating side by side at Al-Haran military base. So wait a minute, shouldn't the American military focus on this coronavirus scare? So why is it that they're going behind the backs of the American people and doing exercise training with their military for this war? Like, what's going on here? Let's read some more on this. You know, why is the military of Iran, why is the military of the UAE and the United States exercising for? Shouldn't they be focusing on this coronavirus scare, especially the U.S. military? Nope, because war is on the verge. All right. So let me read this now. It says, Tel Aviv as the COVID-19 virus hammers Iran, killing senior government officials and at least several thousand citizens. Israel may be readying for a confrontation, even as the U.S. signals that it is ready to act against Iranian forces on Iranian soil. So they're looking to go into Iran, literally. And this is why Russia is getting themselves ready and preparing themselves as to what's going on. But meanwhile, like I said, while they're telling us about this coronavirus scare, telling us to stay home and you only go out to get your food and your medication, okay? Meanwhile, this is what's really going on. They're getting ready, okay? So I can understand why, Boris Johnson and just as a whole, the British government, they have to do with Parliament, because look what they have to really deal with, man. They got to deal with this situation. But they don't want to tell the people that, because they don't want to bug the people out. So they're going to distract the people and saying, look, you got to be aware. You got to be in your houses, and you got to make sure that when you get what's important, like your food and your medication, and while you're at it, when you're lining up to get your stuff, make sure you stand 6 feet far away from one another. All right? So meanwhile, they're telling you all of this stuff. This is what's really going on. War is on the verge. So let me just read this again. It says, a joint military exercise of the IAF and the U.S. Air Force started yesterday over southern Israel, expected to end tomorrow. A large number of F-35 fighters will perform a variety of missions over the desert. According to the IDF, the exercise will be conducted only in the air. Israel defense sources told Breaking the Fence the exercise includes large formations of fighter aircrafts, including F-35s, performing joint attacks on ground targets with two air forces, sharing targeting data. The sources said the U.S. fighter aircraft flew to Israel from the Gulf region and are air refueled. No U.S. aircraft will land in Israel. So it says the U.S. and the UAE held a large exercise, Native Fury, on Monday with troops from both countries operating side by side at Al-Haram military base. They practiced clearing and taking a Middle East city with 4,000 U.S. troops from the Army, Marine, and Navy, and they used armored vehicles and other equipment from Kuwait and the island of Diego Garcia. All right, so the point of the matter is, like I said, I don't have to read all of this. I'll give you the articles and put them in the description box, and you can check them out for yourselves. So like I said, we're at war. And this is what the Lord has in store right now. And the reason why we're at war is because of what was done to the children of Israel. What did the Lord say? The Lord said he had a controversy with Zion, or controversy for Zion. All right? And this is why he's gathering all of these nations, preparing them for the great battle in the land of Jehoshaphat, which is surrounding the Persian Gulf, that region. And that's why that region is getting ready to blow the F up. Okay? So let's read Joel 3, verse 12. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all of the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come and get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Joel 3, verse 14. The multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And the Lord also shall roll out of Zion, and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and earth shall shake. But the Lord will be the hope of his people, and the strength of the children of Israel. Okay, so while this war is getting ready to take place, guess what? The Lord is going to get involved in this nuclear war as well. This is why it says that the Lord shall roll out of Zion. And it also, and just to back that precept up, there's another scripture where it says that the Lord, when he comes, he's going to come as a travailing woman. So let me see if I can pull that out. Right. See, this is it. Isaiah 42, verse 14. I have long time holding my peace. I have been still and refrained myself. Now will I cry like a travailing woman. I will destroy and devour at once. I will make waste the mountains and hills and drive all their herbs. And I will make the rivers of islands, and I will dry up the pools. Okay, so the Lord is coming to bring forth great wrath and destruction. And this is why it says in Joel 3, verse 14, verse 16, the Lord also shall roar out of Zion. What is that roar? Him travailing like a woman. As it says, I have long holden my peace and have been still. So once the prophecy of this world war takes place, then the Lord is going to come in the midst of all of that, man. So this is going to be a dramatic scene on the face of the planet. Because even the third world's war is going to be alone dramatic. But the Lord is going to make his grand entrance in the midst of all of that. So let's read this again. Joel 3, verse 16. The Lord also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem. And the heavens and the earth shall shake. But the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. All right? So the strength of the children of Israel is going to be Yahushua. He's going to make his second return, and the elect are going to get redeemed from out of every kindred where we were put to shame, scattered abroad. All right? And that's what's coming down the pipe. But like I said, brothers, man, just to let all of you brothers know, this coronavirus scare is just that, a scare. It's a psychological operation, and it's a distraction to distract you from what's really going on. And what's really going on is that we're at war. I'm out. Shalom.